bro. Dwayne Wade, you gone too fucking far, dog. That is a male. A 12-year-old. At 12, they don't even know what they next.
You know, we'll go to the house on like the weekend. They'll say, hey, we shooting today. We need y'all at the house. They'll come get me from my grandma's house. And right after we done, when the cameras go off, I'm right back to my grandma's house.
King Harris just can't escape the spotlight, and this time the noise is deafening. Forget the Waffle House fights, the reckless stunts behind the wheel, or those skipped-out court dates. This latest storm makes all of that look small. His own baby mama allegedly dropped a tape, and the internet instantly branded it a gay tape. Before anyone could even figure out if it was legit or some fake setup, the internet had already erupted like wildfire. Here's the crazy part. Rumors about King's sexuality been floating for years. People online been saying he looked a little fruity, while others pushed claims his baby was just a cover-up. Now, this so-called leak gave folks fresh fuel to spin the same tired narrative. And the truth? At this point, whether it's real or fake, don't even matter. Because once the internet smells blood, it never lets go. And if that wasn't messy enough, Boosie decided to slide into the chaos. But instead of roasting King, he took aim straight at T.I. And that one move flipped everything upside down. Suddenly, it wasn't just about King's private life anymore. It turned into a full-blown family feud with rap royalty in the mix. Now, the internet's not just gossiping about King, they're treating it like a heavyweight rap saga. Digging up paternity rumors, clowning his gangster cosplay, replaying his messy spirals in public, and even bringing back Boosie's old beef with T.I., the spotlight isn't just on King anymore, it's exposing the whole empire. And here's the kicker. Even before this so-called tape dropped, people were already side-eyeing King's rocky situation with his baby mama. From the second she announced that pregnancy, the internet wasn't buying it straight up. The first thing people dragged was her age, and she's older than him, and fans jumped right into the comments like, "Girl, you knew exactly what you were doing." Clips of King holding his baby next to his baby mama went viral, but instead of shutting people up, the hate only got louder. Then came the money talk. Folks swore up and down that she only had that baby to secure the Harris bag. They said she saw the fame, the legacy, the money tied to that last name, and decided to lock her spot in with a baby. And whether that's true or not, online rumors moved 10 times faster than the truth ever could. When the baby finally arrived, people thought the chatter would die down. But nope, the noise only got worse. Suddenly, fans were clowning that the baby didn't even look like King. Others accused him of just trying to flex a grown man status. King wasn't letting that slide, though. He hit the internet hard, calling the baby his twin, and even posting side-by-side pics with the caption, "Y'all can't tell me this ain't mine." But the more he pressed, the more folks doubled down on not believing him. And here's the wild twist. This drama wasn't even just about paternity anymore. Because the same crowd whispering for years about King hiding something when it came to his sexuality used his baby mama's pregnancy as proof for their narrative.
You know, me and his uncles, you know, we were perplexed by his necessity to go back and forth with the short order cook. I didn't understand why he felt he needed to stop what he was doing to engage someone who was at such another level of life. Now, I had to explain to him that, you know, when people are not living the way they hope they would live, and here you is walking in with so much freedom and luxury, and you know, people gonna posture themselves a certain way. So therefore, you're gonna have to enjoy your life. You're gonna have to remove yourself from that energy and go enjoy your...
The moment she popped up pregnant, the internet flipped the whole storyline into something way bigger. Oh, he's just trying to prove something. That's what people were saying way before this alleged tape even dropped. So when it finally hit the net, the same trolls came back with old receipts like, "See, this was the plan all along. Have a baby to shut down the rumors instead of silencing the gossip." It gave them fresh fuel to drag him even harder. But let's be real. This ain't the first time folks accused King of putting on an act. For years, critics been clowning him for cosplaying a gangster lifestyle he never lived. He talks tough, jumps into beefs, flexes like he's cut straight from the trenches, but then everybody remembers he's T.I. and Tiny's son. He grew up with money, cameras, and comfort. Most of his childhood spent at his grandma's house. Ain't nothing wrong with that, but it doesn't exactly scream, "I survived the struggle." Every time King hops online yelling about being hood, the comments flood in with, "Be serious." They say he's forcing an image that just don't fit. And instead of making him look harder, it makes his whole persona look shaky. It's almost like King's fighting two wars at once, trying to prove he's a man and a father, while also convincing the world he's some hardened street figure. But instead of making him look strong, all that pressure just makes his public meltdowns worse. That spiral snapped wide open during the infamous Waffle House blow-up. King got caught on camera going off on employees, yelling loud and wild over some fast food. The internet couldn't believe T.I. and Tiny's son was out here acting reckless like that in public. It was pure chaos. Even T.I. himself went live the next day admitting he couldn't understand why his son would stoop to screaming at a short order cook. T.I. said he and King's uncles tried to sit him down, remind him that he's living a life most people can only dream of, so why throw it all away pretending to be something he's not? But clearly that wisdom didn't stick, because things only got uglier after that. In 2024, King got pulled over in Georgia, and police claimed he nearly smacked into a squad car leaving a gas station. When they stopped him, the smell of weed was pouring out of his BMW. Plus, he had a gun sitting right on his hip. And when they ran his info, boom, they found an old warrant from way back in 2022. That case wasn't light either. It tied to reckless speeding, driving with a suspended license, and even a DUI. He was supposed to show up in court but dipped instead, which is why that warrant was still haunting him 2 years later. The arrest video hit the internet showing King in cuffs, hauled straight off to county jail. King might have looked calm in the footage, but fans weren't calm at all. To them, this was proof his whole life was sliding straight off the rails. Now stack that drama on top of the new tape rumors, and the internet started pushing a wild narrative. The baby situation, the gangster image, the viral meltdowns, all just cover-ups for something deeper. That's when Boosie decided to jump into the mess, and things exploded even more. But instead of clowning King directly, Boosie fired his shots at T.I., making slick comments about his parenting, and fans instantly caught the shade. Suddenly, it wasn't just about King spiraling. This turned into an opportunity to humiliate T.I. in front of the whole world. And let's be real, Boosie stepping into King's chaos wasn't random gossip. It was a chess move with history. This is the same Boosie who's built a name on bold, messy, and controversial takes, especially around sexuality. Don't forget, this is the man who had to publicly apologize to his own daughter, Iona, after making homophobic remarks about her. Boosie hopped on Instagram with an apology, but let's be real. Everybody knew he meant what he said the first time. That's why when he jumped into King's scandal, the internet instantly called him out for being a hypocrite. Like, how you clowning another man's kid when your own house is barely in order? To fans, this didn't feel like a joke at all. It felt like a direct shot at T.I. himself. And here's the kicker. Boosie ain't exactly skating through life smooth either. He just struck a plea deal on gun charges, and depending how that plays out, he could be staring down some serious time. So why's he out here trolling King Harris? Simple. This ain't about clout. This is about T.I. and a feud that's been brewing for years. To get why Boosie couldn't resist throwing shade, you gotta rewind back to where the smoke first started. It kicked off when Boosie ran his mouth about Dwyane Wade's daughter after she came out as transgender. His harsh comments got labeled as transphobic fast, and one of the loudest voices checking him was none other than T.I. Tip went straight to Instagram telling Boosie to mind your business and quit worrying about another man's kids. That moment planted the seed for a feud that only grew nastier with time. Not long after, Boosie clapped back by accusing T.I. of being a snitch in his old federal gun case, and that struck a nerve. Tip fired right back, saying he wasn't about to let anyone disrespect his family, making it clear he wasn't scared to go head-to-head with Boosie. From there, the jabs never stopped. That same summer, Boosie took shots at T.I.'s parenting style, especially after Tip admitted he once went with his daughter to the gynecologist. A confession that had already sparked major backlash online. Boosie blasted T.I. as controlling, while T.I. snapped back saying Boosie was the last person alive who should be giving parenting advice. Their feud went from slick comments to straight-up personal attacks, questioning each other's credibility, manhood, and even how they raise their kids. The feud stopped sounding like playful rap banter. This was two grown men gunning for each other's throats. For a quick minute, it looked like they patched things up, both hopping online saying there wasn't any real beef and they were moving on. But by 2023, the fire lit back up again. This time, Boosie accused T.I. of not standing up for him during his own legal drama. Tip wasn't having it. He clapped back saying he wasn't babysitting a grown man and definitely wasn't obligated to defend somebody who never stopped disrespecting him. That's when everybody realized this wasn't clout chasing, this was personal. Boosie had a grudge, and every chance he got, he was gonna jab at T. So when King Harris's scandal hit the internet, the timing was too perfect. Boosie wasn't clowning King just for kicks. He saw a golden chance to humiliate T.I. in public, using King as the punchline. With King tangled up in rumors and viral chaos, Boosie slid right in like, perfect moment to twist the knife. And the internet knew it too. Everybody clocked it as shade at Tip, not King. And trust, the people ate it up. Once Boosie spoke, the floodgates burst open. Trolls went all in on King Harris, and some of the comments were downright brutal. One person wrote, "He was always weird looking to me. Too bad he took after Tiny and not T.I." That hit deep, since folks been mocking King's look since he was a kid. Others dragged even harder, calling him Sideshow Bob from The Simpsons and plastering memes all over Twitter and Instagram. The internet ran wild with it, but the comment that really lit the match? King about to be queen. That line didn't just clown him, it cracked open every old conversation about his identity, throwing gasoline on a fire that was already blazing. And that's what makes this whole situation way bigger than some alleged tape. It shows the world never stops questioning King, no matter how many times he tries proving himself. For years, every move he made, having a baby, acting tough, wilding out in public, always got flipped into something else. And now, with Boosie stirring the pot, the gossip turned into something way deeper, a full-blown debate about who King really is. The internet stopped seeing this as just King's drama. They flipped it into a reflection of T.Y.'s entire family, his parenting, and that long-running beef with Boosie. Think about it. I spent years defending his image, working overtime to keep his household tight under the spotlight. And now, his own son is front and center in a scandal that gives one of his biggest rivals the perfect stage to clown him. For Boosie, this was never about King's reputation. It was about landing a punch on Tip. And the internet, being the internet, ate it up. Old clips resurfaced, past quotes got dragged out, and suddenly the whole thing turned into a full-blown circus. King might be the face on the flyers, but the real fight is Boosie versus T.I., two heavyweights turning a family mess into another round of rap politics. And here's where it gets twisted. King himself looks stuck in the middle. On one side, he's drowning in trolls, paternity rumors, and endless whispers about his sexuality. On the other, his name's being used as ammo in a grown man feud between his dad and Boosie. Every mistake, every rumor, every messy moment becomes headline material. And instead of just hurting King, it drags T.I. down too, making folks question whether Tip failed as a father. That's why this scandal hits different. It ain't just embarrassing King, it's designed to humiliate T.I. By the time this alleged tape was circulating, King Harris wasn't just a young man making bad choices, he was a walking headline. Every single move dissected, spun, and flipped into scandal. And here's the craziest part. The internet never forgets. They dug up every rumor, every bad decision, every shaky situation to paint King as a kid spiraling out of control. But underneath it all, this is deeper. It's about image, legacy, and the crushing pressure he's been carrying. King's been trying to balance proving he's a man, proving he's a father, and proving he's street, but all those roles keep colliding and blowing up in his face. And when trolls see him slip, they don't just laugh, they feast on it, Take the Waffle House fight, for example. What should have been a random heated moment turned into a viral spectacle. Memes, reactions, breakdowns, everywhere online. Instead of folks seeing a frustrated young man losing his cool, they clowned him for cosplaying a gangster life. Then came the arrest footage. Calm or not, being cuffed with weed smoke in the car and a gun on your hip only made people double down on the narrative that King is forcing himself into a life he was never built for. This wasn't seen as some random mistake. It was painted as evidence of a front. And once people believe you're faking, every move you make gets blown up 10 times bigger. What makes it worse is how King's clapbacks always seem to make the fire burn hotter instead of cooling it down. When he hopped online calling his son his twin to shut down the paternity rumors, trolls flipped it into proof that he was overcompensating. When he bragged about being tough, people dragged his privileged upbringing back in his face. Even when he stayed quiet after the arrest, that silence got spun into a storyline about him hiding something. No matter what King does, the internet already has the next angle locked and loaded. That's the trap celebrity kids fall into. Every choice gets mocked, doubted, or recycled into evidence for a rumor that refuses to die. But here's where it stings even more. The way Boosie flipped this scandal into a weapon against T.I. shows just how dirty rap politics can get. Instead of letting King battle his own mess, Boosie saw an opening to reignite his personal war with Tip, a feud that's been bubbling for years with shots fired over everything from credibility to parenting. Now, King's scandal gave Boosie a brand new stage, and the internet couldn't resist playing along. Every slick jab Boosie made got amplified, dissected, and reposted everywhere. And not because people actually cared about King, wow, but because they loved watching two rap heavyweights trade blows without ever stepping in the ring. And that's the saddest part. King ain't just fighting trolls. He's caught dead in the crossfire of a feud that started long before him. The internet isn't just questioning his identity or his choices, they're using him like a pawn to measure whether T.I. is winning or failing as a father. For Tip, who spent his whole career building a brand on family hustle and respect, seeing his son turned into a public punchline cuts deep. That's exactly why Boosie's shade hits harder. It's not just clowning King, it's chipping away at T.I.'s entire legacy. And now, whether that tape is real, fake, or some elaborate setup almost doesn't matter anymore. The damage is done. The paternity whispers, the sexuality speculation, the gangster cosplay accusations, all of it fused into one massive internet narrative that's not disappearing anytime soon. King Harris has officially become the face of messy celebrity drama, where your personal life isn't just exposed, it's ripped apart and weaponized against the people closest to you. And unless he finds a way to flip the script, every new move he makes is only going to feed the cycle even more. The internet is ruthless, and when you're the child of hip-hop royalty, the standards cut even harsher. King wanted the world to see him as grown, tough, and independent, but instead he's trapped in a never-ending game where trolls, critics, and even rival rappers write the storyline for him. And with Boosie refusing to back off his feud with T.I., King's name is guaranteed to keep getting dragged through the mud. Right now, it feels like King's identity, Tip's legacy, and Boosie's grudge have all collided into one giant storm of chaos. And it ain't slowing down anytime soon. Because let's be real, this isn't just about some tape or a rumor. This is about power, pride, and image. The internet feeds off scandal, and when it comes to King Harris, they've got more than enough on their plate. His baby mama drama, his fights, his arrests, his dad's beefs, it's all turned into one big spectacle. The only real question now is whether King crashes under the weight of it all or somehow flips the chaos into control. But one thing's for sure, the world is watching, the trolls are waiting, and every single mistake will get broadcast louder than the last. The ball's in King's court now. Either he takes control of his story or lets it spiral even further out of control. And no matter what happens, one thing is clear. The internet ain't letting go anytime soon. With Boosie and T.I.'s history still bubbling in the background, this drama is far from over. So buckle up, because this story isn't ending here, it's only getting bigger. If you're locked in with me on this breakdown, make sure you smash that like button, drop a comment, subscribe, and share so we can keep pulling back the curtain on the stories the industry doesn't want you to see.